Hello everyone, UC Campbell here, and this is my first episode of The Good, The Bad, The TNA. And this is for the go-home show before TNA Sacrifice for May 11th, or not May 11th, but May 12th, 2011. All in all, this was an okay show, a decent go-home show. For me, a little bit too much talking. I mean, we already have one area and one other company that does a lot of talking. But I figured there would have been a lot more action going into tonight, or going into Sunday, which they usually do. And I honestly do feel like at times TNA is better than the WWE at that. But for this week's show, it was a lot more talking, a lot more backstage and in-ring promos, featuring pretty much every match from Sunday, which was the good thing. At least they kept most of the talking about Sunday, about Sunday's pay-per-view with Sacrifice. And honestly, I could have done without the network exec being revealed this week. I would have, on a personal preference, I would have liked it to have been revealed next Thursday on Impact Wrestling, which is now the name of the show, deemed by Mick Foley and the people of the network, and just essentially the people who own the company in general. They decided to take that route and get the TNA name out of their company name for the wrestling show and just call it Impact Wrestling in general. And I guess they're doing that. Hopefully it will boost viewership, and just a lot of people have the TNA brand as a crappy show, so hopefully taking that branding out of there will try to get them more viewership in that way. I don't feel like it will actually work, but they're giving it the good old college try, and that's always a good thing there. Matches this week, with the exception of the main event, which was a 25-man battle royal to determine the next #1 contender for the TNA title, and all the matches outside of that were extremely short this week. And pretty much just also to get set up for Sunday as well with a few of the matches. But like I said, it was just an okay show, and for me, way too much talking. I think there was a good point in time where you had the opening segment, which took about 15, maybe 20 minutes, and that was all talk. And then you had a 2-minute match, and then you had about another 30 minutes of just talk again. And of course, there were commercial breaks in between all that time as well. So for me, too much talking. For other people, probably a very entertaining show. Most of the promos were very well done. The Mick Foley promo, being the network executive, was well done, but the storyline I'm still not very sold on yet. So we'll see where they go with it, and hopefully it will turn out to be for the good. I don't think it will. I personally don't like most of the storylines where they're going right now in TNA. But like I said, everything can change in a heartbeat on that. But for the most part, they've been doing the same story for a few areas. They've been doing the same storylines for about 5 to 6 months, and that's not a bad thing, because back in the day, back in the 80s and the early 90s, you would have feuds that would go on for over a year before they would fully end. So hopefully, but back in those days, you would also have a lot of the storylines. Sorry for going a little wonky on the talk there, but back in the days in the 80s and 90s, where the storylines were held for a good 6 months to a year at a time, those were generally written extremely well. And most of the times that I've seen in TNA, and honestly in WWE for times as well, have not been done so. Those kind of storylines have not been written well. I mean, the whole thing with Kurt Angle and Karen and Jeff, it just doesn't feel right. Most of the times you can put, most of the times when you bring real life into a storyline in the wrestling business, it very rarely works, and I don't think it's really working all that great here in this area as it is. Hopefully it'll be coming to an end soon. It looks like it will. They brought in China to be the Miss Angle, and hopefully that will nullify Karen, and then eventually you'll just have the one-on-one match with Kurt and Jeff, and then that will be that. Obviously, the promos that they've been doing for that have been extremely well done by both Jeff and Kurt, but then again, they're two extremely good pros, and they both can still go. So what they've done with has been they've done good with what would be a bad storyline, essentially, in that case. And with the main event tonight, which was pretty much the only actual match that I would consider in the entire night, you had the 25-man Battle Royal. Mr. Anderson won the match and becomes the next #1 contender for the TNA title. He will be facing the winner of RVD and Sting. I'll have predictions for that on Saturday this week, and we'll see where they go with that as well. But all in all, okay show, a decent go-home show for the pay-per-view. I'm going to be doing my horrible predictions for the TNA Sacrifice pay-per-view on Saturday, and I will be doing a review show after the pay-per-view goes off the air on Sunday night. Thank you guys for watching, and this is the first time I've done TNA, and this is the good, the bad, the TNA.